Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? It's really, really good. Gosh, it's good to be back. It's really good. We were just saying how lovely it is to be back on SPTV, and I got ridiculously excited the first time I saw the little intro credits start rolling for Nick and Karen's show and Deb's show and all of these lovely people coming back. So it's really, really lovely to be back here with you. Hello to everybody who's come back and has been eagerly awaiting to come and join us again. It's really lovely to have you with us, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on a replay. It is just splendid to have your company. And it's worth saying that all of the replays are available on Facebook and on YouTube. So if there's ever an episode you miss, you can always go back and watch the beginning, and you can also send them and share them to people. That was something that came up yesterday at something else I was doing, that actually people were tagging their friends and sharing the broadcast with them, so that if there's anything that really resonates and you think, I know somebody needs to listen to that, then you can tag them and you can share it with them and they can come and join us. So for those people who I haven't met before that might be brand new, and SPTV could be absolutely brand new to you, and you could have just stumbled across it through the beauty of the algorithm. Hello, my name's Reverend Ashley Oliver. I'm an interfaith minister. I'm a student of mysticism and all things Gnostic and mystical. I'm a lover of tarot, and it's really, really nice to have you with me. You might notice that I've got an empty space next to me. The absolutely beautiful Shaz. She is chock-a-block busy at the moment. So she sends all of her love, and I'm sure she'll be on the live and she'll be popping in and out of other people's shows on SPTV. So Shaz, for the short and sweet experience I had working with you, it was absolutely magnificent. Please do go and check her out. She's doing Mind Body Spirit Fairs, demos. She's just started a tarot course, which is amazing. So please do go and check out on her page. And for those people who want to follow me, you can go and check out all of my socials. I'm Rev Ashley Oliver on all of my socials. So you can go and grab some freebies. I've got a Sacred Space ebook for download that's absolutely free. You can go and grab that if you'd like to. It'd be lovely to have you along on my journey. So just say hello to a couple of people who are starting to drop in. It's lovely to have you with us. Hello to the lovely Mimi, who's joining us. What a fab name. Lovely Mimi, who's joining us on YouTube. You're new, you are welcome. You are being held in this lovely space. I like to think of this as our virtual circle. We've got the lovely Serendipity. So good to see you. So good to see you. How are you doing? Who's also on YouTube? Hello to everybody. Hello to everyone who's watching on YouTube. Hello to Claudette, who it looks like your wedding was a magical winter wonderland, Claudette. Good evening to you. Really lovely to have you with us on Facebook. Beautiful. And look at this, another fiery redhead. Love that profile picture. Hello to Mel Dean, who's watching on YouTube live. Really lovely to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining. Hello to everybody who Mel's brought with her. And we've got Mary Butcher on Facebook. Really nice to have you with us, Mary. Thank you so much for coming into this space and being with us. And say where you're from as well, guys, because I know that we have people from all over the UK and all over the globe who are joining us. So please do put where you're from as well, because that's really interesting for me. Hello to Danielle Williams on YouTube. Really good to have you with us, Danielle. Fantastic. And the lovely Jackie McGuinness on Facebook. Beautiful green heart. Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you for coming and being with us. And if there's any people you know in the comments in the chat, you see some of your friends popping up, please do say hello to your friends in the chat. This is a community for you to check in and say hi to people that you know that are popping on. And Lucinda on Facebook from Shropshire. Beautiful. Thank you, Lucinda. Hopefully you're still got a bit of sunshine up there. And Sandra on Facebook, who's from Canada. Sandra, you are in the lead so far with the furthest flung person from me. And we've got Diana, who is from Spokane, Washington State. Wow. Got people from all over. Diana, it's lovely to have you with us. And Danielle's from Iowa. Amazing. Okay. Danielle on YouTube's from Iowa. Mary's from Portsmouth. Keeping it South Coast, Mary. I love that. I'm in sunny Dorset. So yeah, I'm along the south coast in England and the UK. We've got Judith from, how do you pronounce that, Judith? Carnesty? Probably got that way wrong, but it's beautiful to have you with us, Judith Somerville on Facebook. It's really lovely to have you with us and along. Is it in Scotland? Thank you, Richard. Richard's just you said I don't even need Google. Richard's faster than Google. Did you know that? That he just drops the stuff in. Carnoustie in Scotland. Lovely. And Patricia from Dagenham in the house. Patricia, really good to have you with us. Thank you for coming along and joining us with your beautiful profile picture there. That's lovely. And Ben, oh, Ben, what a lovely profile picture. Ben from Hinckley in Leicester. Lovely part of the world, Leicester. Beautiful, beautiful. And Sandra from California, Canada. I think that was Canada. California. Lovely. Thank you so much. Mel, thank you for your comment on YouTube. Yes, it is awesome. It just blows my mind. And do you know what? How it's hard to imagine what life was like before we had the internet and YouTube and Zoom and all of these things. Yeah, amazing. This group of people have been brought together. Oh, my lovely Emily. Oh, Emily and Ash, really, really lovely to have you with us. Oh, yeah, from just down the road. Some more people endorse it. That's lovely. Thank you. And Diana from Northamptonshire. Thank you so much for coming and being with us. Beautiful. Thank you, everybody. Oh, and someone just come in. And the lovely last one, not the last one through the door, but Susie, you're here. Relax, chill out. You've made it. Thank you for coming on board and watching the live. So Susie Selby on Facebook. Thank you. It's really nice to have you with us. So we are going to be trying some new things. Do you know what? We've had a bit of a break on SPTV. Everyone's had a bit of a reset. We're in summer holiday mode and we're kind of coming back, and it's an opportunity to take this particular program on a Thursday every fortnight in a direction that I think is really, really interesting. So there's going to be some guests. There is going to be some discussion around things which you might find interesting. But I fully appreciate that not everyone watching this program is actually a spiritualist. And that's a really interesting one. So this primarily is a channel for people who are interested in mediumship and psychic work, psychic art, clairvoyance, philosophy. It's a very, very broad brush. But I fully appreciate that people have a really, really vast and fluid understanding of their faith and their belief system. And so it's my hope with this program to start to have some conversations around things which might be interesting, some mysticism, Gnosticism, anything that you want to talk about, then this is going to be the place to do that on a Thursday. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to be able to lead you into realms and have discussions around anything which you think this is really interesting. Something I've come across, a place to ask questions, then we're going to hopefully do that on a Thursday evening fortnightly. I know I'm setting a big agenda, but that's what we plan to do. We will also be doing some readings on the show. I know there's some amazing readers on this channel that are just go like the clappers, and it's one after another after another. The pace of this show, I liken it to being in a development circle, in a spiritual circle of friends, where I'm holding this space for you to come meet up with your friends, have some interesting discussions, have some reading, share some insight. You give some insight to me, and it's very much a mutual place to meet. So with that in mind, we've got loads of people still dropping in. Hello to Sandra from Milton Keynes, but you come from London. You are here. And Sandra, you're exactly where you're meant to be. We're in this place together now. So what we're going to do is we are going to, it does sound like fun, Danielle. Do you know what? We're going to try something a little bit different. Always like to try new stuff. We're going to try something a little bit different. So I'm going to light a candle for us. And the reason why I do this, oh, look at this, live TV. And the reason why I like to light candles is because no matter the miles, no matter where you are, no matter where you are in your life, where you are in what you've done today, situations you've dealt with today, no matter whether we were watching this live or on catch up, for me, a candle just creates that moment where I can kind of just drop into my spiritual self, and I can put all the other hats that and things that I'm juggling to one side and be here for you and create that really beautiful sacred space together. It's really important to me. And the the ritual around the spiritual work that we do actually can be really important. And I know you can give psychic readings at a bus stop if you need to, but for me, this is really precious time that we've got together. So it's really important that I do it properly and we create this lovely circle space. So with that in mind, it would be really interesting to know how everyone's getting on in this absolutely nuts energy which is going on at the moment. And thank you for all of the people that joined. I know lovely Lucy from America joined for the Lionsgate Circle that I did online a couple of weeks ago, which was kind of looking at the Lionsgate portal and all of the energy and things that are going on in the world. And I don't know about you, but it just seems like everywhere I turn, I feel like very much I'm, standing still and everything around me is just in a constant state of flux. Yes, Lucinda, yes, lots of people are getting inexplicably really run down. And if you're sensitive or you're an empath or you're a healer, you're going to be feeling, you're going to be really feeling it. And yet the full moon, the super moon that we had on Monday was even people who are not that woo-woo, and I know that my better half is not into this whatsoever, but even on Monday he was like, wow, look at the moon, isn't that crazy? So it is rubbing off, it's rubbing off, but it's a very, very powerful time. And I know that there's lots of things going on in the world, going on politically, going on globally, going on with people's families, within faith movements, faith networks. It all feels like it's all coming to a crescendo, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong. If you're feeling it, you're not wrong. So I'm really interested within this lovely supportive container that we've created now with lighting candles and creating this space, how that is going for everybody, and whether there's anything that anyone wants to talk about. I've got some tips and things which help me navigate this process. And I know that some of you are newer to your spirituality potentially, and are looking to develop and unfold, which adds another layer of it. So you're going through this really intense spiritual development, spiritual awakening, whilst navigating all of this. Really good comment from Judith. Yes, the moon has really, really amped up the energy. It absolutely has. It feels like while it was going along and kind of like crunching, and there was some things happening, it's just like we've turbocharged it since then. So that's really interesting. So Danielle's noticed it as well. So since the eclipse, everything has changed, air, water, people, everything. I don't know, Danielle, whether you did any work. So when we were going through the Lionsgate portal, I did some energy healing with the people who were on it. And actually we did call through some more energy. And I know, even as I'm talking about it, I'm feeling it. I know my life and my spirit work has just gone since then. So yeah, so it's interesting, Danielle. So brilliant. So Danielle's got straight in there. I love that. You were on it. You were on it with a bag of chips tonight, Danielle. So some of the thing that helps her is water and being near lakes. So anything that you find that you help, put it in the chat. Somebody else might find it useful. If they don't find it useful, then it's a really good place for people who might come on the replay afterwards. Who might say, oh yeah, I need to go and be by a lake, or I'm being drawn to water and I don't know why. For me, the thing that I'm being drawn to is to be outside around woodland, anything that's like a woodland or a forest or with lots of trees. I'm being really, really drawn to that particular grounding energy. That's what I'm really yearning for. And darkness, which is very strange, even though we're in the height of the year and the summer, but actually that knowing that the season is turning feels like it's quite a relief that actually we're going to get back into that dark space of the year. Serendipity loves our pet. Oh yeah. Yeah, any little animals that can come and give us some healing. They give us such a lot of healing, and they do keep us very grounded. Beautiful. So yeah, keep it coming in the chat. Hello to Marcel, who's joining us as well. Really lovely to have you with us live on Facebook. Yes, absolutely. It's definitely grounding. So it's definitely, so for us to be able to function and to operate in this energy, which is kind of swirling around us, it's really important. I like to visualize it like digging your toes into the sand or digging your toes into the soil. It's just to really make sure that we're staying grounded, especially if people around us are experiencing something and they don't know how to articulate what it is. And all you're getting is it's really important, more important than ever, that you keep yourself grounded. Yeah, there's lots of stuff going on with people in our families. So, Sandra, I am going to get to some readings. I'm just catching up with people, but I will get to some readings, and they will be just whoever I'm drawn to, and they will be intuitive guidance readings because it's nice and quick. I think we still do have the facility for Zoom if people want to come onto it, but they do obviously slow the pace of the reading down. I want to get as many people as possible. Yeah. So well done, Abs. Yeah. And Susie said she's been feeling really emotional and fragile and low. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, go with it. My advice is to go with it. My advice is to just surrender to the process and allow yourself to just feel the feelings and to recognize that it's not you, that you're not doing anything wrong. It's nothing to do with you. You're not descending into chaos. It's actually everything else that's going on in the world, and this is all just part of the change. It's all just part of change. Yeah. Cool. And we've got Natalie on as well on Facebook. Hello, thanks for joining us, Natalie. Really lovely. Beautiful, beautiful energy. Right, I'm going to pick a reading in a minute. Danielle, is it okay if I give you a reading? Because you have put some absolutely stunning comments on here. So Danielle loves trails, trees, water. You take pictures. Oh, that's really, do you know what? I do that too. I do that too, Danielle. I like to take the photos because when I take a photo of a flower or a tree or the way the light is hitting something, it really puts me directly into the moment and I can't just walk past it whilst having a daydream. I need to really concentrate on how I'm taking the photo. And you've been 20 days sober. Oh, Danielle, amazing, amazing. 20 days sober. Um, yeah. So you really are going for it. You really are embracing all of the beauty of your awakening, Danielle. I have nothing but admiration for you. Because of that, Danielle, I'm going to give you a fantastic reading and I'm going to choose it from the Lightworkers Oracle deck because of your amazing work and unfoldment that you're doing. Beautiful. Yes, be gentle with yourself, Danielle. Well, you're day 20. So be gentle with yourself. But amazing. I hope you've got a really good support network. I hope you've reached out to people. There's some amazing networks. I know you probably know that. There's some amazing apps that you can get and download on your phone. Really good YouTube videos. But yeah, getting outside is amazing. Well done. So Danielle, beautiful reading for you, my lovely. And the card from your, oh, lovely, Lightworkers Oracle is the card, What Lights You Up? Hopefully you can see that. What lights you up? So this is a call to listening to what it is that your spirit is asking for. And it can be very gentle or it can be very loud. And I love to hear that you are outside in nature and already doing this. And it'd be really interesting for you to journal your process or reflect your process while you are going through your sobriety, to notice how more strident some of the spirit communication and your intuition becomes, especially when you're sleeping, especially during your sleep state. It'd be really interesting to chart how your body reacts to the healing process that you're going through on this healing journey. But the card that's talking about what lights you up, this is about asking spirit what they would like you to do with what expands your soul, finding your joy, finding what it is about your spiritual path, finding what is in your life that you really love doing. And when I say love doing, it should be something that feels completely effortless. Something that feels like I could do this forever and never get tired of doing it. Yeah, so you're going cold turkey. Oh, there is some good support. There is some really good support mechanisms out there. There's really good apps and Zoom groups, and there's loads of stuff out there. So do look into it. Yeah. So have a think about what it is and that lights you up. And this isn't just to do with jobs and hobbies and friends, but this is at a deep soul level. For some people, it could be art. For some people, it could be music. It could be dancing. It could be drumming. It could be crafting. It could be writing poetry, taking photographs in nature, and then creating a beautiful composite picture of all of your most wonderful moments, or making a calendar. It's finding what it is that makes you feel connected and allows the spirit just to come in very, very gently, because that will be the path to what will support you and nurture you. So well done, Danielle. I'm chuffed, and I would love I don't know if you're a regular on SPTV on YouTube, but do stay in touch. It'd be really wonderful if you could to support you on your journey and give you the applause when you need it. Yeah, absolutely. Well done, Danielle. Hopefully that made some sense to you. And you can resonate with that. It's really lovely to read from you for you. Thank you, Danielle. Super. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So welcome. So welcome. Thank you for being with us. Amazing. Amazing. So guys, if you would like a reading, please put some comments in, some thoughtful questions, anything specifically that you would like some guidance on in your readings. So I tend to primarily focus on spiritual guidance. Obviously, if there are things which are pressing around your life, which are going to come up, they will come up inevitably, but it tends to be more of a kind of spiritual, mystical. Hopefully you're getting the vibe of the show by now. So Sandra, you joined a circle after a few years break. It's hard getting back to it. Is that, Sandra, is that getting into the rhythm? Is it blending with the people, or is it getting over yourself a little bit? One thing I find quite common for people who were in a circle and were working quite regularly, and for whatever reason they've had a break and then they come back, is that they're still comparing the person they are today to the person that they were, or the medium that they were 5-6 years ago. And you've changed, you've evolved, life has changed. The way you work may have changed, your energy, your physical. There's so many variables in it. But the biggest thing that we need to get over is ourself and the comparisonitis that we have, not just with people sat next to us, alongside us in a circle, but also with the way that you were before you took a break. So Sandra, I hope so it's new people in the circle. Yeah, it's the configuration of people in a circle is very, very precious. And it's something that I'm very mindful of in my circle. So I've run lots of different circles, but when I'm putting together an open circle, which, as you probably know, is anyone can come in at any stage of their development and come and be sat in a circle. I am very mindful of the energy dynamics that happen in that. And it's something that any circle leader really should be aware of and have some training or awareness in how to manage group dynamics. Thankfully, I'm a trained teacher, and so I understand kind of classroom management, for want of a better word, and the dynamics of people working together, how to bring people on and just gently persuade people who to work with, that kind of thing. So there is a lot of dynamics that goes on behind the scenes. I suppose give it a go and understand maybe if there's things in those people that are bringing things to you that you need to have a look at, that you may need to work on, or that they're holding up some kind of a lens for you to look through. If you really, really, really do not get on with them, or they are not your vibe, or it's not your vibration, and there are lots of circles out there, keep looking. Keep looking, and you know what? It's not personal. And I think sometimes this is where we get really caught up in our spiritual development, is because we conflate and we mix up our spiritual job of turning up, sitting in a circle, working with spirit, working on ourselves, doing the work. And we think that it always has to be a friendship group. And I suppose I'm quite cut and dried. Is my spirit work, and I take it very seriously. And I have my friends, and I'm friendly with people who I run circles with and who I work with in circle. But sometimes, I'm not their friends. I don't, we don't get involved in each other's lives. And it can get quite tricky and it can get quite clicky. So keep looking, Sandra. Keep looking. If that circle doesn't do it for you, keep looking. Until you find the tribe that fits your vibe. Just keep looking. Judith, this is a really interesting question. Do you feel the veil is getting thinner between the seen and the unseen world? Do I think the veil is getting thinner? No, I don't think the veil is getting thinner, but I think our tolerance with ignorance is getting less and less, if I'm completely honest. And I think our reaction to the direction that things are heading in the world means that people are reclaiming a spirituality and a sovereignty, and rather than it being a very black or white conversation around what flavor of spirituality you have, as I said at the beginning of this, I'm an interfaith minister. And the reason I went into interfaith ministry and not into any of the other kind of flavors of faith to become a ordained minister through those is purely because I recognize that there is such gold to be found. And I'm all for supporting people to find their own path. That my spiritual journey is not your spiritual journey, and I don't want anyone to be squeezed through the sausage machine of saying this is what this kind of spiritual person looks like. Actually, we are all very, very different. So do I think the veil is getting thinner? I don't think it's getting thinner. I think it's our awareness which is enhancing, and our ability to perceive and to ask questions and to go within, and that yearning that I hear people talk about. I hear, and it may not be expressed in a way that anyone can put their finger on. But when I'm in a session with somebody and they're using words which give me little clues that what they're searching for is that deeper connection to their own personal gnosis, their own personal knowing, their own personal connection to their divinity, the universe, God, the angels, Great Spirit, however it is you describe that. It's a personal yearning and a personal journey. And we don't want to be mediated. We don't want someone to be the meat and the sandwich between us and that power. We would like to touch it and experience it ourselves. And I'm probably bucking the trend, but if we were doing our job as people teaching mediumship and clairvoyance to every single person who came into that circle, then the churches would be empty and people wouldn't need to go and see mediums. Controversial. And also, people would have the ability to self-heal. It's a really tricky conversation to have. But I'm all for spiritual sovereignty and reclaiming it for yourself. Yeah, and releasing the fear of the unknown is there's an awful lot. So the more that people are, oh, Lucy, oh, thank you, Lucy. Bless your heart. Lucy, I love it. I love our little tarot question conversations. I love that first thing in the morning. The more that people are reacting to claiming back their spiritual sovereignty and asking questions and taking things on themselves, the more that we're pushing upwards. My perception of what's happening is the more that there's a reactionary push downwards. So it's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. And for the benefit of the algorithm, I'm not going to go into that anymore, but it's really interesting to watch how things are playing out in the world. And we as spiritual folk, what does that call on us to do? What does that call on us to do? How does that call on us to hold our own knowing, hold our own path, just hold it steady, not be swayed, ground yourself, do what it is that you need to do to keep yourself strong, empower your friends and family, little drip feeding of what it is that they need to do, practice healing, all of these things that we're doing to increase our own energy, to increase our own capacity to hold light for other people. Yeah, it's really important times we're in. It's really important times we're in. And I was listening to something amazing. And I can't think of the person. He's an incredible astrologer. And he was talking about the cycle of the planets. And the last time in history that we were in the cycle we were in was the time at the 20s and 30s. So from the kind of end of the 1800s through to the early part of the 20th century, where the things like the Nag Hammadi texts were discovered, and the birth of theosophy and anthroposophy, and Carl Jung was around. And it was all of these amazing seismic shifts in the way that humanity was thinking about the mind, the ego, the self, how we operate as beings, the blossoming of spirituality. I mean, think about spiritualism at its peak at that point when we talk about modern spiritualism, and its absolute peak. So that was the last time we were in this particular energy cycle, was at that time in history. And there's been many cycles, the Age of Enlightenment, and then going back in time through the medieval time and the Cathars. And, they were a sect that were deemed as heretical, but actually they were all about personal gnosis. They were all about how we embrace our own connection without going through mediation of the church. So there's a lot going on. If we look at it in terms of a pattern, there's a lot. So Kimberly's put a lovely question on. This page has helped since the lockdown. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. It is a great team. And it's very carefully tended, the team. But yeah, channels like this, sending some light out into the world. Thank you. Jackie McGuinness has got a really good question. So, Jackie, how should I start my spiritual journey? Jackie, it's going to take longer than a 5-minute question. Oh, I love this. I love this. So, are you absolutely brand new, Jackie? Are you absolutely brand new to this? Or is it focusing your spiritual journey in one particular direction? And I say I'm not one to open people's Christmas presents, and I'm not going to say to you, oh, Jackie, you are going to be a healer and you are going to be this and you're going to be that. It's for you to have the joyful moment where you can talk to your people and follow your joy and follow your bliss. As I said in the reading earlier, to follow those little breadcrumbs that spirit leave for you to know the direction of travel that you need to be headed in. And experience it all. Don't shut yourself down off to say, I'm only going to do this, I'm only going to do that. I'm like a child in a sweet shop. And if there's 11 billion different types of thing to practice, do all of it. And if you find a really good development circle, which is kind of where I would start, if I'm completely honest, Jackie, I would say if you have access to a really good spiritualist church, or you know a really good medium who you trust, ask them if they've got a circle or if they know of a circle. Most churches will have a circle that's run by somebody, the president or someone on the committee. So go down that route first. Find a circle. Again, it's a preference whether you like online circles or in-person circles. There are both out there. The technology facilitated that. I'm a fan of an in-person circle purely because I like to, especially for new people, it's nice to be able to kind of feel how their energy is reacting and how they're interacting with the people and just kind of see their process. So yeah, there's a couple of questions there for you, Jackie. So please do come back and I'll be able to expand a little bit more. But find a development circle would be one. And if you're a writer, start jotting down with spirit, how do you want to work with me? And just allowing spirit to come and be around you and feel your energy. I'm going to give you a little amazing. This is the perfect card for you. This is the hero's journey card I've just picked for you. And this lovely little card here is discover your superpower, access 100% of your mojo. So that's, like I said, be a child in a sweet shop or an artist with a palette with 1,000 colors on it. Just allow yourself to experience all of it, and you will instinctively be drawn towards what resonates with you, what doesn't resonate with you, what lights you up. And it's not forever. It's not forever. I remember starting to learn spiritual healing when I was probably in my early 20s. And then for whatever reason, I kind of got then moved into clairvoyance and that kind of area. And I just always thought, oh, healing's not for me and this is my energy. But actually it was at the time. And then it has kind of swung back. And now healing is just a really important part of the spiritual work that I do. So it's not forever. You just enjoy whatever it is that comes up for you, Jackie. But yeah, that card was beautiful for you. It's like just go and experience 100% of it. Just go full throttle. Amazing. Thank you, Jackie. Super. So Mel's got an interesting question. Let's read Mel's. Okay, so Mel on YouTube, caught in a never-ending cycle of being stuck and not moving forward. Is there any message you could give me to help me move on and improve myself? I am my own worst enemy. So Mel, you get kudos immediately for already knowing that the common denominator in these challenges is you. And it's really beautiful. I want to make a reflection for you, Mel, that the language that you've used here is very empowering, that actually this is about you and your journey. So I already know that from a spiritual perspective, you are very introspective. You go into looking at the whys and the wherefores, and you sit and you kind of ponder and mull over what it is that's going on in your world. I don't know if you're a tarotist or an oracle reader. I kind of get the impression if you aren't, then it would be a really, really lovely thing for you to look at, because you've definitely got that energy of noticing signs, symbols, patterns, colors, textures. So if you're not already working in that way, that would be really lovely for you. And if you are working in that way, use your oracle or tarot deck to do some journaling. I find it exceptionally helpful. And I know if Lucy's still on, we had this conversation the other day, didn't we, Lucy? I find tarot and oracle journaling exceptionally helpful because sometimes we're so close to the problem that we can't see it for ourselves. Because there's so much emotional load, which is why many of the tarot readings I do are for tarot readers, because actually it's really, really difficult for us to read for ourselves. We've got so much investment in it. We're so attached to the outcome that it's very difficult to be impartial. So use some journaling. You do amazing tarot cards. Yes. So use those. Use those as part of your journaling. I find the daily card pull really good. So if I'm going through it, I'll pull one card and go, okay, what is this got to tell me? And then sit and what do I not look at the words so much and the actual official meaning of it. So don't go to the little white book, look at it, and then you start to interpret the colors and the emotion and the energy behind it and what you notice, and allow your subconscious to play with the imagery first, because that's the kind of the primal part of our brain that kicks into action more slowly. So our conscious brain will be straight in there to say, blah, 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 this is what that means, and that means, and this is what the Six of Cups means, and blah, blah, blah. Our conscious brain is straight in there because it's trying to tell us stuff all of the time. Our subconscious brain works more slowly and more fluidly and more like serpent-like as it kind of gently awakens and crawls down. So allow your subconscious mind, don't look at the book, allow it to play with the imagery that you see and the reaction to the card, the reaction, whether it's an archetype that is something that you resonate with or something that maybe challenges you. There's a really good deck that I love in this kind of arena by Kim Kranz called the Archetype deck. It's not, you would love it. It's very gothic-y, very symbolic, very subconscious. The meanings aren't obvious, that you really have to do some digging. I find that exceptionally helpful with shadow work. I'm a massive fan of doing shadow work. So I don't know if you've looked into that, Mel, but that would be probably a really good turn for you. If you're already a card reader, then maybe to use your card to do a bit of shadow work. I used to have a download on my page for shadow work. I will think about digging that one back out again and start sending that one round, because I think actually, do you know what? It's a really useful tool for everybody. I think we're at that stage, as I said before, energetically, where we are in the world. I think we're there. That shadow work would help an awful lot of people to shift their energy very quickly. But it requires us to go within and do the inner work. This is not spiritual bypassing spirituality. This is about owning some of our stuff, owning some of our ancestral stuff, our Akashic stuff, if that floats your boat, and just how we react energetically to people around us. Thank you, Mel. You are so welcome. The card that I got for you is from a really beautiful deck, the Spirit Messenger deck. And the card I got for you was Let Go. And this card here, as you can probably see, is beautiful autumnal leaves. And it's kind of surrendering everything into the water. And there's a really powerful healing ritual that you can do that when you are looking to move on, move yourself out of a cycle, is to surrender everything. And it's exceptionally powerful. And I'll tell you how to do it, Mel. What you do is you get some water. And if you're very witchy, then you can make it moon water, sun water, however it is, if you've got some kicking around. If not, then have you not all got moon water kicking around? I don't know, maybe just in my house. Find your bowl and then bless the water that's in the bowl. And you can do that by closing your eyes, however it is that you kind of connect to your sense of self. And then ask the bowl and ask the water to be the vessel, the container for what it is that you need to release. And then think about everything that's going on and where you're holding yourself back and the spiral that you're in, and maybe visualize it as a spiral, and then visualize, put your hands in the water and visualize that energy going into the water, and you're releasing it. You're allowing it to go. If you're near, so you're going on a camping trip, amazing. If you're going anywhere near water, you can do this with moving water. Is amazing. I wouldn't recommend doing it down Chesil because the wind gets up quite high and you'd probably get swept out to sea. But if you're near some kind of manageable water course, then you can do it there. Next to a waterfall is amazing because you've got really fast moving water that's imbued with ozone, which again has got its own kind of spiritual properties to it. Yeah, shadow works for you, Mel. I think please be warned. well, I say warned, just be mindful that a lot of things come up once you kind of start surrendering and stepping into it. There's a lot that comes up. So I wish you all of the best with that, Mel. It sounds like you're on quite a journey, my lovely. Stay in touch. I love to hear about how we're a little circle now. I like to hear about how everything's going. And yeah. Lucy, shadow work, Lucy. Can I talk some more about shadow work? I can. So, shadow work is something that is very misunderstood, and shadow work has been maligned for a very long time. It's got a bit of a reputation that it's quite witchy and dark and mystical. I know I've already mentioned Jung previously, but Jung, as you probably know, was a student of Freud, and he kind of took Freud's work on psychoanalysis and then took it into a very symbolic realm, if you like. And the premise behind the shadow is it's these parts of ourselves which, for whatever reason, we deem to be unlovable or not right or not acceptable. Not something that's, if we think about it as being a tribe, your shadow is anything that would have got you thrown out of the tribe. So for some people, that could be jealousy, anger, violence. It can be lots of things like that. But for some people, there's a really complicated relationship with some of these aspects of our shadow that we send away, because it could also be some things which are deemed as positive traits. So being a perfectionist, so being really good at something, being proud of what it is that you do. Especially for spiritual people who are sensitive, these are things which we squash it down. Don't be too good. Don't be too good at it, and don't talk about it, because that's having an ego. Don't talk about it. So it's some of the things in our shadow can be really difficult. We can do a whole one on this. So Lucy, let's come back in 2 weeks. And there's a really interesting link with healing the witch wound, which is a whole subject that I do a lot of writing on, which is healing the witch wound, reclaiming our spiritual sovereignty, and some of the damage that the archetype of being the witch or the mystic or the spiritual person or the woo-woo person or the healer or the herbalist or the midwife, we had many titles. The mystical woman, the mystical person has had many titles, whether you're a sage, a druid, a wise man, many titles. But the wounding that can cause, that can hold us back, is massive. And that does come out when you do shadow work. So you can explore that in a lot more detail. How does my witch wound hold me back? Yeah, let's do it, Lucy. Okay, we'll do that. We'll have a session. We'll do a session. We'll do a session on the witch wound, and what it means to spiritual people and how we deal with it, tackle it, how it shows up, what it looks like. No, you're all going to be in shadow work. I love this. Please do put your comments on here and stay in touch, because I would love to know how it is going. And I think I'm quite inspired. The next one, we might just do a whole session on the shadow work and what it means for us, and give you some exercises and things to do, and we'll pull some cards on it. Super amazing. Right, Jessica, hello to you, Jessica, watching on YouTube. It's really good to have you with us. Thank you. And Steve, who's just joined us from Canada on Facebook. Hi, Steve. Hope that you are doing well, and that you are well over in Canada. Fidelma, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, my sweet. Fidelma. So you've got an interesting question. Okay, so I'm at a crossroads of whether I stay in Ireland or go back to London to be with my mother, but our dynamics are not simple. Oh, there is no easy one for this one for you. Really interesting. So there's lots of layers to this, and this is not an easy question. And any question that's like this, I say, goes beyond the realm of a tarot reader or a psychic or a medium to be able to say. It's not as easy as a turn of a card, and it's not as easy as just saying yes or no. There's lots of conditions, lots of challenges. There's lots of factors to take into account as to whether you go or not. The fact that you're asking means that there needs, my intuition is there needs to be some work that you need to do to prepare yourself for that particular journey and that being with. I can only, and I spoke about this morning, the relationship we have with our mother and the relationship we have with that primary caregiver is so complicated. It's so vast and it's so complicated. And I know that everybody has a different flavor and a different take on it, and it can move and it can grow and it can wane and it can be challenged. So I don't feel like I can give you an absolute yes or no on that one, but I would ask you and invite you to sit with where you are feeling some resistance to just jumping on a plane and going. Why is that resistance coming up? And if you've got someone you know and trust that you can talk to talk it through. I'm a massive fan of talking things through, thinking things through. Think about what kind of energetic preparation you need before you go as well. Because not only are you having a journey, and you haven't said how long it would be that you'd be going, but I'm getting the impression that it would be a longer stay. It's not just a visit, but you be there and back, whether you're planning on kind of temporarily relocating. So think about all of the things that you would need to put to rest before you went. You know, commitments, job, accommodation. There's lots of loose ends, which all add to the complexity of why this is not a turn the card question to talk about. But I'm getting, yeah, I'd think about what it is that you need to do to prepare yourself energetically and from your own healing as well, to get yourself in a place where you feel strong and grounded and empowered. There's also some boundary work, which maybe need to be looked at as well. You say the dynamics are not simple. I don't know whether it's with your mum, it's not for me to know, or whether that's with the wider family. But when the situation is complex, it's a real invitation for us to have a very strong sense of who we are and what our boundaries are and what we believe and who we are as a person and our energy and how we ground ourselves and connect and stay true to ourselves. Yeah. I hope that's helped somewhat, Fidelma, but I know it's probably a really difficult situation for you. But yeah, it's that head and heart question, isn't it? Hopefully you might give me a little bit more context if you want to. If not, then that's fine. Feel free to put some more comments in. Oh, okay. Hello, Lisa from Illinois. Oh, it's your first time with us. Amazing. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased you're with us. It's really, really lovely to have you with us, Lisa. Amazing. Hopefully you'll stick around. There's some really good people on this channel, so stay tuned for who else is on. Okay, so Hayley, a few things that have nudged me to looking into reconnecting with a distant family member. Okay, this sounds really interesting. I'm gonna just see what Spirit have got to say about it. Hayley. So it feels positive, Hayley. You haven't said whether it's, some things have nudged you. It's difficult to know when I'm not sat in front of you, whether this is because I can't kind of like feel the energy of whether this is some things have nudged me because they're more challenging events, or whether this is a good thing that you're looking to investigate and reach out. Let me see what we've got over you on Facebook. Okay. Interesting. The card that's come up for you is the listen card. Oh, I can never get this right. Listen. So, Hayley, this is an invitation for you to go to a situation with your eyes wide open. And when I say your eyes, your physical eyes, but also your third eye, your intuitive eye. This card is telling you to listen. And a lot of what people say, it's like what 10% is what people say, and the rest of it is what they don't say, and their body language and their reactions and their energy and what you read into the situation. So if you reconnect with this family member, the kind of feeling is that there's going to be a lot of things said and a lot of things discussed and a lot of understanding which needs to be reached. There's a kind of energetic reconnection which needs to happen, and that energetic reconnection is far more complicated than physically moving your physical body from one place and reconnecting and giving somebody a hug and saying hi, how are you, haven't seen you for a long time, or being in the same room as them. The energetic bonds can take more time to reconnect, to fully enmesh. Does that make sense? So please go in with your ears and your eyes open, listening to what's got to be said, having an open heart, a compassionate heart, but very similar, as I said, to the previous lady, understanding where your boundaries are and who you are as a person, having a very strong sense of who you are, but it's to be there to listen, and to listen without judgment and being quite compassionate. That's the card that they got, I got for you. And it's very much to listen to what lies underneath the words and behind the words. That's the wisdom of that particular card. The listening also, because for each card, there's a as above, so below, as within, so without. There is also, while you're offering that listening to the person that you're looking to reconnect with, there's also the listening to yourself. And that's something that we maybe don't do when we're very empathic and we're very compassionate. All of our energy is focused outwardly, feeling the world, helping the world, healing the world, guiding, offering readings to the world. We're very outward focused. Part of the work that I do is to encourage people to be more inward focused as well, that you've got to kind of hold both things in tension, that listening to yourself when you're going through these energy interactions, when you're talking to them, when you're engaging with them, and just reading what your intuition is telling you and giving yourself space and time to listen to that. And you know what? Do overthink it. do overthink it. Do reflect on it. So hopefully that's helped, Hayley. Again, these are really, if we were together, we'd be having a cup of tea and we'd be sat in circle and we'd be talking things through. It's not as easy. There's not a chance of reconnection. Okay. So it's okay. It is about listening. It's about creating that space. It's creating that space to listen to why there's that yearning, why there is that need for connection, and listening to what is coming up for you, what's coming up for your energy, what's coming up in your body. Listen to the wisdom of the body. The Body Never Lies is an amazing book, but actually the wisdom of our body tells us, gives us that intuition long before our rational mind has worked it all out. Okay, they've passed. So this is going to be an energetic healing connection for them in the spirit realm. So this is where all of your work with meditation and journaling and sitting quietly is going to come into its own. And also healing, we talk about distant healing a lot. Distant healing can also work for people in spirit. The energy goes where it needs to go. And some of the most powerful healing work can happen through ancestral lines. So this is where the healing comes into it. So you sound like you're on quite a journey there, Hayley. You're in a real journey there and doing some really lovely family line healing, which, I mean, I'm a massive fan. I've got some incredible relationships with people who are in the spirit world who I didn't really know that well. I knew a facet of them when they were here, but now I have the very privilege of understanding the fullness and their struggles and their limitations and their triumphs and all of that. I feel like I know more about them. So you've got an amazing journey to unfold, Hayley, and lots of things to explore. Yeah. Wow, quite a journey, Hayley. I am going to have a quick slug of my coffee after talking to Hayley, but don't go away. We're going to have a quick... Oh, we've got 4 minutes left. We're not going to have a break. Sorry, I got carried away, Richard. Richard just told me I got carried away. We're not going to have a break. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. I'm going to try and get one more reading in. Hello, Tracy. Really lovely to have you with us. All the new people from Facebook. Lovely to have you with us. I'm fascinated. For anyone who's joined and who's brand new, are you here because the algorithm popped SBTV in front of you, or are you new here because somebody recommended you to come and have it? I'm really interested how people find this channel. Beautiful. Okay, so you're all interested in shadow work, right? Richard, make a note. Next time we're going to do some work on shadow work and healing the witch wound, because it's huge and impacts every spiritual person, anyone who's into this. Bless you, Hayley. Bless you. Yeah, do stay in touch with us with your journey and how it's all going and what you're discovering. Beautiful. Well done, everybody. Yes, we're going to do shadow work, healing the witch wound next time. And yeah, let us know how you found this channel, how the magic meant that you came here. So Lucy, you've asked a really lovely question. How do I know that someone close has passed okay to the spirit world? Now, there's lots of people who give signs and I'm going to be really careful how I put this, because there are also many disappointed people up and down the land who made an agreement with their loved one before they passed that there would be a very unique and special symbol that they would pass. And once and only when they see that symbol will they know that they've gone to the spirit world and that they're fine and safe and well. That creates a real challenge, because the person is then in a perpetual state of seeking and going to one medium after another to try and get that symbol. What I would say, Lisa, is that I know, as sure as anything that I've ever known, that just as every child comes into the world, knowing that there is at least a mother there with them to bring them into the world, because that's a biological certainty. And they're more often than not are loving people who care about them, who are around them to come into this world. My understanding is that there are as many people that meet you once you cross over to the spirit world. I have never heard in any of the hundreds of messages that I've heard, witnessed, experienced, been part of, anyone say to me, and it was horrible when I passed because there was no one there with me. The many stories I've heard of people who are in hospices who pass, who say it wasn't painful and there was a beautiful light, or I felt warm, or I was surrounded by what felt like angels and my mother was there. And those are the stories that we hear. And so I suppose I want to say to you, Lisa, if you have someone who you love who's passed to the spirit world, just know that they are okay. Just know that they are okay, and believe that as a truth, because that feels like it's the way of the world. That if they were a good person when they were here, and they had, lovely relationships with people, and they had loved ones in the spirit world, then they will be met. That everyone is met. And I believe that. Until I hear to the contrary, I believe that everybody is met. Even people who maybe didn't make such a great life when they were here, they will still be met, and they will, potentially go through some kind of process of healing and thoughtfulness about the way that they were on this planet. But I believe that everybody is met, and they receive the healing that they need in the spirit world and the help that they need, and that nobody is ill in the spirit world. So, Lisa, keep your eyes open for signs, and talk to spirit. And if there's somebody that you really want to hear from, depending on how recently, you haven't said how recently they've passed to the spirit world, and if we're in a period of deep grief, it can be really challenging for spirit to come through quickly, only because we're still feeling so much loss, physical loss, and they may be, as I said, going through some kind of period of adjustment, maybe, to the energy and how it works. But talk to them. Talk to your loved one, talk to your loved one in the spirit world, talk to people who would be around your loved one naturally in the spirit world, family members or friends or neighbors, who would naturally flock to them to welcome them, and ask them to help, give you the feeling of them being okay. But the starting point for me is always they are fine. Know that they are well. And that bond of love is never broken. So if you're desperate to hear from them, they're desperate to talk to you. Hopefully that helps, Lisa. But yeah, it's your dad, bless him. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Right, my lovelies. That's gone really fast, and it's really lovely to be back. And thank you for all of your amazing questions. Thank you for being present and here, and come back again in 2 weeks' time. If you are in for the next installment of SPTV, the amazing Reverend Nick and Karen are going to be back on Monday at 10:30. And they've got their amazing Monday morning show. It's at the perfect time for a coffee and a biscuit. So do tune in on SPTV on Monday at 10:30. Apparently, they've got a big announcement. I don't know what that is, because I don't know what else there is left, because there were oracle cards and everything else. So there's a big announcement on Monday at 10:30. So tune in for that. If I don't see you before, I will see you in 2 weeks' time, everybody. So do tune in, stay in touch, stay well. Really lovely to have you with me. I'll see you again soon. Go well, everybody. I'm going to blow up.